Teenage years, whether in life or football, are usually about growth, a time to learn, develop, and gain the experience needed to reach the top. But every once in a while, someone comes along who skips that learning curve entirely. Players who don't wait to become great, they arrive already looking like seasoned pros. Today, we're counting down the greatest teenage footballers in history, the prodigies who didn't grow into greatness, they were born with it. Let's begin with the most recent teenage sensation, Lamine Yamal. At just 17, he's already a regular at Barcelona with over 100 appearances. Yamal plays like he's been around forever, a magician on the ball, blessed with elite dribbling, vision, and passing. He's intelligent, composed, technically outstanding, and fearless, taking players on like he's in the academy, not on the biggest stages. He made his La Liga debut at 15. At 16, he became the youngest starter in a Champions League knockout match. But it was Euro 2024 where he truly announced himself to the world. At 16, he became Spain's youngest ever player, the youngest assist provider, and the youngest goal scorer in European Championship history. He starred against Croatia and Italy in the group stages, assisted against Georgia in the round of 16, and knocked out hosts Germany in the quarter-finals with another vital assist. Then came the favorites France, who Yamal saved his best performance for. He curled in a stunning equalizer, picked up man of the match, and guided Spain to the final, where he assisted once more to cap off a dream tournament. He was named Best Young Player. And if that wasn't enough, the next season at 17, he would lead Barca to a domestic treble, topping La Liga's assist charts, while delivering 3 goals and 2 assists across 4 El Clasico fixtures, including 2 assists in the Copa del Rey final. Still 17, he's not just a prodigy, he's already Ballon d'Or material. And with the 2026 World Cup around the corner, he might finish as the greatest teenage footballer of all time. Before Yamal, there was Pelé, and for many, he remains the gold standard. Pelé isn't just one of the greatest footballers of all time. He's arguably the best teenage player ever. He wasn't just scoring goals. He was dominating with skill, flair, power, and genius football intelligence. He debuted for Santos at 15. By 16, he was the top scorer in Brazil with 41 goals in 38 games. But it was the 1958 World Cup where the teenager became a legend. Aged just 17, Pelé took the World Cup by storm. He scored the only goal in the quarter-final against Wales, a hat-trick in the semi-final against France, and 2 more goals in the final against hosts Sweden. He became the youngest player to score in a World Cup, the youngest to score in a final, and the youngest ever World Cup winner, a trio of records that still stand today. What made it even more astonishing wasn't just the goals, it was how he did it. Chest control, volleys, chips, dribbles past defenders. Pelé looked like a veteran at 17. But he didn't slow down. At ages 18 and 19, he scored 41 goals in 26 matches in the Campeonato Paulista, led Santos to back-to-back league titles, and scored 8 goals in 6 games for Brazil in the Copa America, including a hat-trick against Paraguay. He was still a teenager, but already the most feared player on the planet. Diego Maradona was built different. At 15, he debuted for Argentinos Juniors, the youngest ever in Argentina at the time. Even then, he embarrassed experienced defenders with his balance, dribbling and swagger. By 16, his vision, control, passing, and dribbling were years ahead of his age, earning him a call-up to the Argentina national team. At 17, he was controversially left out of the 1978 World Cup squad by coach Cesar Luis Menotti, who felt he was too young. At 18, he led Argentina to the 1979 Youth World Cup title and won the Golden Ball, dominating the world's best youngsters with ease. By 19, Maradona had scored 116 goals in 166 games for Argentinos Juniors, while still being younger than most academy graduates. He was short, left-footed, and had a low center of gravity, but he was pure magic. Ronaldo Nazário, R9, was a cheat code. At 17, he had everything: speed, power, dribbling, ball control, finishing, flair. He was unstoppable. He scored 44 goals in 47 games for Cruzeiro, won the Copa do Brasil, and earned a World Cup call-up at 17. At 18, he joined PSV and scored 30 in 33 games. At 19, Barcelona broke the transfer record to sign him. He was already the best striker in the world, as a teenager. At 16, Kylian Mbappé debuted for Monaco, breaking Thierry Henry's record as the youngest debutant for the club. At 17, he scored 26 goals and provided 14 assists in all competitions, leading Monaco to their first Ligue 1 title since 2000 and reaching the Champions League semi-finals. He scored against Man City and Dortmund. His pace, off-the-ball movement, and finishing were elite. At 18, PSG made him the most expensive teenager ever. In his debut season, he had 38 goal contributions and won the domestic treble. When France needed a hero in 2018, the 19-year-old answered. Kylian Mbappé tore through Argentina in the round of 16, scoring a brace and winning a penalty, then scored in the final against Croatia and became the youngest scorer in a World Cup final since Pelé, won Best Young Player of the tournament, and helped France lift the trophy. Wayne Rooney made his pro debut for Everton at 16 and exploded onto the scene with a screamer against Arsenal that ended their 30-game unbeaten run. His strength, aggression, and long-range shooting were unmatched for a teenager. At 17, he debuted for England, becoming the youngest ever at the time. Then came Euro 2004. At 18, Rooney was electric, 4 goals in the group stage, the tournament's breakout star, and joint top scorer before injury struck against Portugal. If he hadn't been injured, England might have gone all the way. After the Euros, Man United splashed £25.6 million, then a record fee for a teenager. On his debut, a hat-trick versus Fenerbahce, he ended the season with 30 goal contributions. Michael Owen made his Liverpool debut at 17 and scored immediately. At 18, in the 97-98 season, he scored 18 Premier League goals and 23 in all competitions, securing the Golden Boot. At just 18, Owen was the main choice to form a strike partnership with Alan Shearer in the 1998 World Cup for England over the likes of Les Ferdinand and Sheringham, scoring against Romania to become the youngest England player to score in a World Cup and second youngest scorer in World Cup history at the time. He would score a legendary solo goal versus Argentina in the round of 16. He finished 4th in the Ballon d'Or at just 19, a near unheard of feat for a teenager. His blistering pace, clinical finishing, and fearless attacking made him one of the best players in the world at such a young age. Most midfielders don't hit their prime until their mid-20s. Cesc. He was bossing Premier League and Champions League games at 18. Calm, composed, creative, a teenage general in midfield. Fabregas would join Arsenal from Barcelona's academy and would make his professional football debut at 16 for the Gunners, becoming the youngest ever first-team player. At 16, Cesc Fabregas was playing senior football in England, not just surviving, but shining. While most teenagers were still in youth teams, Cesc was running midfields. His vision, his passing range, football IQ, and composure was already miles ahead of seasoned pros. In the 2006 UCL semi-final, at 19, he outplayed Juventus and made Europe stand up with Arsène Wenger smiling and applauding his performance like a proud dad. At 19, he was selected for the Spanish World Cup squad. Lionel Messi made his debut for Barcelona at 17. His first goal was set up by Ronaldinho, the ultimate passing of the torch. At 18, he was already a regular in La Liga and the Champions League, though an injury ruled him out of the Champions League final. At 18, he would make his debut for Argentina and earn a call-up in the 2006 World Cup squad. By 19, he had scored a historic hat-trick in El Clasico, the youngest ever to do so. His dribbling, low center of gravity, and ability to change games made him a phenom from day one. Messi didn't need hype, he had magic. The moment he touched the ball, it was clear. You weren't watching a future star, you were watching the start of greatness. Cristiano Ronaldo debuted for Sporting Lisbon at 17 and earned a move to Manchester United after torching them in a pre-season friendly. At 18, he was handed the iconic number 7 shirt. He impressed in the Premier League with his dribbling, flair, and confidence. He delivered a standout performance in the FA Cup final, helping United lift the trophy, and starred for Portugal at Euro 2004, scoring 2 goals and making the team of the tournament. Even then, his work ethic was legendary, constantly honing his skills, building his physique, and evolving his game. At 19, Ronaldo would score an iconic brace against Arsenal at their home, showing Henry that he was coming for his throne. As a teenager, he was all stepovers and flash, but you could already see the hunger to become more. That teenage showman would soon become a goal machine, and one of the greatest ever. Neymar debuted for Santos at 17. His rise drew inevitable comparisons to Pelé, not just because he played for Santos, but because of his flair, influence, and ability to carry a team at such a young age, scoring 14 goals in his first season, and quickly became Brazil's next great hope. By 18, he had 63 goal contributions in 60 games, including 11 goals in the Copa do Brasil. At 19, he led Santos to their first Copa Libertadores title since Pelé's era, was named Player of the Tournament, and won the FIFA Puskás Award for his solo goal versus Flamengo. That same year, he made the Ballon d'Or top 10, while still playing in Brazil. No player outside Europe has ever achieved this feat. His flair, dribbling, and improvisation made him a superstar before leaving South America. Jimmy Greaves was banging in goals when footballs were heavy and defenders were brutal. At 17, he debuted for Chelsea and scored on his debut versus Spurs. By 18, he had 22 league goals, and at 19, he scored 32. Before he turned 20, he had already scored over 65 top-flight goals, an astonishing tally for a teenager in that era. From ages 17 to 19, he was Chelsea's top scorer every single season. His finishing, positioning, and movement made him deadly. Johan Cruyff, before the turn, before the philosophy, was already brilliant. At 17, he debuted for Ajax and scored. At 18, he was the club's top scorer with 25 goals, leading them to their first Eredivisie title in 5 years. At 19, he scored 33 goals in 30 games, won the Dutch double, and was named Dutch Footballer of the Year. He wasn't just Ajax's star. He was already the best player in the Netherlands. His intelligence, technical ability, and tactical awareness stood out even then. From Pelé to Yamal, these aren't just great footballers. They were teenagers who shook the world. They didn't need time to grow into legends. They started young, and never looked back. If you enjoyed this video and want to support me as I continue my journey through college, feel free to donate via the link I've posted in the comments and description. Every little bit helps, and I really appreciate your support.